Hello, hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. In 1869, an expedition led by John Wesley Powell commenced to map the Colorado River Grand Canyon. By the time the group made it to this part of the Grand Canyon, 3 men had had enough and decided to leave the expedition party and make a run for it. These men would climb the 5,000 feet out of the Grand Canyon and onto the Shivwits Plateau. Once on top, at least one of the men, William Dunn, would climb to the top of what is now called Mount Delenbaugh to get his bearings. Somewhere near the summit of Mount Delenbaugh, William Dunn would carve his name and date onto a rock before descending, and as the story goes, all 3 of the men would be murdered shortly thereafter, or so goes the rumor. History aside, I've always wanted to summit this remote desert mountain, so I figured no time like the present and decided to go have a look. Currently, the most daunting part of this trip is the 80 miles of dirt road driving one way to get to the trailhead. So please join me as I head deep into the Arizona backcountry to bag this peak and search for the inscription of the doomed William Dunn. Okay, we are officially on the dirt. And we're setting the odometer to 0. All right. 90 miles to go. Buenos dias. Well, we made it. Excuse me. Hope you don't mind if I talk while I walk. This is the most expedient way to do this. So, made it to the trailhead, to Mount Delenbaugh. This is really exciting for me. I've been wanting to come out here for years and bag this mountain. And never fails. I always put it off till like November, December, actually December. And I'm just like, well, I'll just wait. And holy moly, hey Phoenix, no. That damn buck, it's a buck mule deer. Came right up to us. Really? That buck came walking up right at us. And it took off when Phoenix chased us like she wasn't gonna catch it or anything. Anyway. Like I was saying, sorry for the interruption. I always put this off until November, end of November, December, because I'm just like, I'll just wait till it gets cooler to go out there and do this. And every single time I do that, an early storm comes through, winter storm, and boom, this area is impassable. It is. I've almost gotten stuck out here twice. And I've seen road graders sunk up to their cab out here. These roads are awful when they get wet. So it's mid-September now, and this is a perfect time to get out here. October as well. Generally, you're out of the monsoon seasons, things have dried out, and for lack of the ground's stable. So that's when you want to get out here. Springtime can be a little iffy with the storms, and let me tell you, the roads out here are impassable once they're wet. They're bad news, and you just get in trouble. Anyway, so Mount Delenbaugh. The stats here real quick. At best, maybe 1,000 feet of elevation gain. Looks like I'm starting at just over 6,000 feet, and summit is just over 7,000. So I personally, from my experience, I think just 1,000 foot elevation gain is going to be pretty easy. Now it's about 3 miles to summit from the trailhead. As you can see, I'm on a pretty distinguishable trail. It's going to meet up with a road
And that'll get me almost to the summit. From there, I'll just kind of bushwhack up it. I think this is going to be a fairly gradual walk. So I'm not anticipating a strenuous day. So two things I want to do out here. Of course, I want to bag this peak, Mount Delenbaugh. And I want to see if I can find William Dunn's inscription. Now, there's no directions to where he scratched his name into the rock. So I'm kind of got a sense of urgency on my hike up to the top, because I imagine it's going to take a little while to try and find this, if I can find it at all. From what I understand, it's barely legible, but it has his name, Dunn, and the year 1869 scratched into the rock. I would think that would be fantastic to find that. However, I'm going to keep my expectations low in case I don't find it. That way I'm not disappointed. And the main goal, of course, is just to summit this very remote mountain peak. Now I'll touch on the history of the area once again lightly, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the video. John Wesley Powell was coming through the Grand Canyon on a mapping expedition. It was literally one of the last places in the states to be mapped at the time. And William Dunn and the Howland brothers were part of that expedition. They had had enough. So by the time they got down to this part of the Colorado River, they wanted off. They were done. They're out. They climbed up a section of canyon called Separation Canyon in the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is just, it's splintered with all types of secondary canyons going off from either the north side or the south side. They came up the north side of the Grand Canyon, and that canyon is Separation Canyon. From what I read, there's a plaque at the front there. As an experienced Grand Canyon hiker, I can't imagine what that climb out must have been like in 1869. They had 5,000 feet of elevation gain, completely unknown territory, no maps, no nothing. It had to be absolutely brutal. But we do know that they made it, or at least William Dunn made it, to the top of Delenbaugh Peak here, because his name is up there. So they got out of the canyon, which is just that feat alone is just incredible. And then they got up here, as you can see, you can't see anything. You're in a forest. We're in higher country. It's like, there's ponderosa pine trees up here. And you can't see anything, so you can't get your bearings. So naturally they climbed up to the high point, or Dunn did, to get their bearings. Once they descended down, no one really knows. Word on the street is murder. They were murdered by, there's a few possible scenarios. One were natives, Shivwits, or someone else, radical Mormons, who knows, or maybe the elements got them. However, mystery here is that no one knows, and their bodies were never recovered. So the remains of those three men could still be out in the area here. It's kind of interesting to think about. So let me just touch on this as well. Those men climbed out of the Grand Canyon in August of 1869. Temps at the bottom, 120 degrees. They climbed 5,000 feet of elevation gain in 1869 with no prior knowledge, no supplies probably, or very little. And they made it, or one of them made it to the top of Mount Delenbaugh in August. That time of year out here is brutal. I don't even come out here anymore in that time of year. So they weren't murdered. Exposure got them. The heat. I mean, you could die of thirst in hours out here in that time period with excessive temperatures. Happens every year. Back to the present. This is not a popular hike. The only tracks in the trail in front of me are deer tracks. There's a log at the trailhead. Last person or people to come up here were NPS individuals, and that was over a month ago. So I wouldn't call it a popular destination. All right, we're getting some views of Delenbaugh at my fingertips. Peak right there. So the trail is just that. It's a trail. It's navigable. It's pretty difficult to get lost at this point if you stay on this, and eventually it just spits out into a road, which we may be on right now, as a matter of fact. So it's not a difficult walk at all. Very gradual, and I think the final section right up there towards the top of Delenbaugh, that'll be the only really steep part, and that'll be easy as well. Not really focusing too much on the trail. It's still navigable because it's, well, to be honest, it's a little monotonous really. There's nothing, it's just a gradual walk up and that's it. So getting some peaks at the summit here. And yeah, that's it. It's just right there. It's just a hill right here. It's not a bad walk up. Oh, we'll get a little clearing right here. That's it, right there. Summit, not bad at all. So 1,000 feet, it's not that much. Except the hard part's the ride out here. There we go. There's a view of top of Mount Delenbaugh. It's just a bunch of lava boulders with some juniper trees all over. I don't even know if the dog can get up there. I think the road, or the path I should say, it's not much of a road, goes up to almost at the summit. I think there's some measuring equipment, probably weather monitoring or something, up at the top there. So they would need a path to get up to that. Administrators, right? Excuse me. Up, up, up. All right, summit's right here. We're not far. And we're already getting views, so look at that. Whew. Man. It's a whole lot of country out there. Yeah. So what you're looking at right here, this is a plateau. And my fingers are at the horizon. It drops down. What have I gained? The ride up here, I think I gained 3,000 feet of elevation. So what did I start at? 6,000 down here. I'm almost at 7,000 to the top here. That's a bit of an elevation change. That's a lot of country out there. And views to the south. Wow. Grand Canyon. Oh my goodness, is that that's a beautiful view. So William Dunn and the Howland brothers, they didn't come up right here. They came up off to the left, off Separation Canyon. Whew, man. Yeah. Never gets old looking at the Grand Canyon. So they crawled out of that canyon and they got right up here. And that's what they saw to the north. Yep. All right, I'm mere feet from summit. Trail goes right up to here, I believe, and then it's a little scramble to summit, I think. But this has been a very easy walk. Summit's right up here. I've just been walking along here, having a look for the inscription. I have not found it. I may not find it. I need to drop the pack and really scramble. This could take some time. So I think I'm gonna run up and bag the summit and then give it a good hard look around here. We're mere feet from summit. I'm just gonna leave my pack down there to make travel a little less easier. And coming. I don't know if she can make it to summit, but I'll give it a shot. Oh, there's a weather monitoring station right over there, I believe. And this is, yeah, I think we'll be there in just a second. That's a pretty easy summit. So as far as the, well, I'm not there yet, so I don't know, but I'm presuming that. As far as William Dunn's inscription, that's a tough one. After I get summit, I'll spend a little time scouring the rocks here, but I'm not gonna waste too much time. Man, look at those views. Wow. Would William Dunn, would he have gone to the summit, or would he would have come up in one of these canyons, maybe that canyon right there? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was a canyon right over here. So he would have come up somewhere, the group, and then made their way here. Where would he put his name? Well, all right, here we are. Summit of Mount Delenbaugh. What a view, huh? And yeah, I thought we were gonna have to get over big boulders of lava rock, but no. My hat's gonna strangle me, Jesus. Yeah, what a beautiful view. Right, so if William Dunn got to right there, he would have gotten to right here. So you can see there's lots of little finger canyons coming off. They climbed up one of those. One of these is separation. Let me figure this out real quick. All right, so, man, God. The brothers and William Dunn came up from a canyon out there. So directly in front of me, this section of land, there's a canyon that comes up right here where my finger's pointing. If I'm getting this right, then there's another kind of extension of land that goes out, and there's another canyon over that. They came up on the horizon and came this way. Wow. Yeah, it's out in the distance there. That, I believe, is Blue Mountain, that little hump right there where my finger is, if the camera's picking this up. They came up somewhere over there. God, I just can't. The physical feat of that, of getting 5,000 feet out of the canyon here, and then crossing this, and then coming up here in August, surviving that's just incredible, to be honest with you. Did they have supply? I mean, what supplies would they have brought with them? Probably nothing. And then they get up here, and this is what they see stretched out to the north in front of them. Just vastness, nothing. My God. Right about then, they probably said, we might have made a mistake. Oh, I I can't imagine. And just as a side note, you do have service up here. So I was able to get some texts out to my wife. So at the top here, you've got service. Down at the bottom, no service. Just so you know, if you're out here and you need a signal out and you can walk going up to high points, you can get service. So there you have it. Now we made it to the top, we need to find the inscription. Well, I'm pretty sure the camera's not picking this up very well, but I found one inscription. This is July 1935. Camera picking that up? Here's another interesting inscription. I believe this says Dine. Does that say Dine Nation? That would be Navajo Nation. Is the camera picking that up? Yeah, it is. Shadows? No, that's too much. Well, we've been searching for probably an hour and nothing. So, I mean, we've searched this whole, the whole thing, and it's like a needle in a haystack. It's just, apparently it's just a tiny inscription on a piece of lava rock somewhere up here. So, I don't know. Might waste another half hour looking for it and then wrap it up because we got a long way back. Well, we're back at the summit and we still have not located the inscription. So we're gonna give this just a little bit longer and then we're probably gonna have to wrap. But I did forget when I was up here prior to show the BLM marker, or the, I'm sorry, not the BLM marker, but the USGS marker for Delenbaugh Peak. So yeah, we got it. Okay, well, we gave another hour. I could not find the inscription. That's the way it goes sometimes. However, I will come back probably sooner rather than later and give it another shot when I've got a little more time. But we got to start heading back. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon now, so an hour, hour and a half to get back to the truck, and then of course at least 3 hours back on the dirt. So Mount Delenbaugh, yeah, really cool up here. It's absolutely beautiful. Views from the top are fantastic into the Grand Canyon. The history surrounding this is really interesting. Yeah, who knows what happens to those guys, whether they were killed or they just didn't make it. I don't know. That last thing I researched and found while I had service up at the top about the guys encountering some natives and then getting tracked and killed by them. I don't know. I mean, I guess no one will ever know. But that's kind of the mystery surrounding this. So, you know, there it is. Anyway, I like challenges, so I'll definitely be back to find this. I will find it. So there'll more than likely be an update, but it's time to head back to the truck. So what do you say, Feast? Ready to get walking? Right on. We've made it back to the truck. About a 3-mile hike back, so roughly 6 miles round trip. It's a warm walk back. No doubt about that. Well, there you have it, Mount Delenbaugh summit. Beautiful views of the Arizona Strip and then into the Grand Canyon. There's also a fascinating mystery surrounding this whole area. What happened to William Dunn and the Howland brothers? No one will ever know. But next time I'm out here, I am definitely going to find the inscription on top of Mount Delenbaugh. So there you have it, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I've got lots more content on the way. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It is free and it helps the channel tremendously. We want to grow. Thank you as always. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.